Hi there. I just want to do a talk, and this talk is going to be about it's going to be really for people who channel and this is something that we're all doing actually, but we're not aware that we're doing it. And how this happened for me was I had an unexpected spiritual awakening. One thing led to another, and all the information I get is channeled information, but I also have an awareness of things like, for example, anyone can come to you if you're channeling a meditation and say they're Jesus. They can say they're Pleiadian. They can say they're a light being. Doesn't mean they're telling the truth. And there's many channelers who they're seeking externally. But what the spiritual awakening did for me is it showed me that all I need to do is look within me. And then I realized that all is one thing. But because of that, I realized that because it's all one thing, there's still dark elements of the one thing. So I'm very aware of darker energy or darker things coming to me, but it's all the same one. It's all the same thing. But many channelers are a bit vulnerable. They're a bit, a bit open. They're very open, and that's a good thing. But they just accept anything. It's like people that read the Bible, or they just take it face value and don't question it really. And this is an example of how gullible people are on planet Earth, because to just take something face value and not really look any further, that means you're very gullible and very vulnerable. And it's like you could read the Bible, but you don't know the circumstances of anything in that book. You don't know really what it's for, really. You don't know the ins and outs, right? You don't know the reason it's there. And this is a very important thing, and a very important thing that people need to think about. Because things can control you. There's an infinity of potential of energy and life and beings. So if you can have something of light, you can have something of dark. You can have something super intelligent and be of dark. It's like people that talk about Jesus. You don't really know if Jesus was really Jesus. You don't really know what he was for. I mean, why was he killed? And these are all questions, and more questions as well, that people don't ask. Now, this is things that people don't ask. Of all religions and all things, And this is very important, because you could get a group of aliens could come to planet Earth and say, and someone out of that group could say, I am actually Jesus. I was Jesus. It could be a lie. But this is what people don't think about. And I'm realizing more and more on this path how vulnerable humans are. And that's not a good thing. It means that you can get hurt. It means that you can be led, away from goodness. And it's something that people need to be aware of. Someone could come to you saying, I'm the Pleiadians, but they might not be the Pleiadians. You can't know. Right? You can't know for sure. So this talk is really about telling people to try and be a little bit more intelligent. And don't be so vulnerable. Because if you're more intelligent, then that means that you're likely going to have a better result in what you're channeling. Feel the energy. And even sometimes if it's very intelligent beings, it can trick you in that also. This is important, this. You don't know how intelligent they are. They might think that their light is better than our light or something. You know, they might think that their version of good is better than our version of good. You just don't know. And this is why that, you know, what I'm getting at is the fact that just look within you. And stop trying to look for an external force that is going to save you, because you don't know what you're interacting with, really. You know, you don't know what you're dealing with. And this is a very common sense attitude, a logic attitude, but it's a very good attitude as well that I've got, because it means that I'm aware, and I'm trying to share this awareness so that people can be more aware. You know, because you don't know what you're communicating with. You don't know the level of intellect you're dealing with. You don't know what their agenda is. You know what I mean? It's funny, you get people that like read the Bible and they believe every word. Every single word. They don't think of where it might have come from, what the reason is for it being. They just take things based on face value. And it's a very stupid way to be, a very vulnerable. You know, you don't want to be too open, because when you're too open, that's when anything can get in. So that's why this awakening, what it showed me, the spiritual awakening, there's an unexpected spiritual awakening, was to look within me. Right? Instead of looking externally. You can be a channeler and not having a spiritual awakening, and yet, because you've not had that big awakening, you'll think it's all external, it's aliens you must chase, and you don't know what you're interacting with. And it can be very dangerous for planet Earth as well to do that. You know, the best solution to all is to just let your soul, let your divinity within you lead the way. Let the goodness that you feel within lead you. And that way you know that you can trust that. I mean, it's the only thing you really can trust if you think about it. Is your heart space and what feels good there, and because the heart knows, you see. But these people that chase, that looking for external aliens, they're they're not sure of themselves. That's why they're looking for external help. And what I realized from this awakening, that you are the one infinity. So you don't need to look for an external force to help you in your ascension process. You're the infinity all by yourself. The aliens are you. It's all one, because everything comes from nothingness, and nothingness is all of infinity. That means you are infinity. Science even has this machine now that can actually go back to the Big Bang and can prove that it's all come from nothing. If you think of it logically, common sense says that everything has to come from nothing. So that means that the nothing must be awareness itself. So that's all we are. You know. But even in this dream, you know, even if it's a dream, you could still cause some bad things within the dream by interacting with outside forces that you don't understand about. You know, this happens to anyone that channels, that, you know, some of them can end up quite ill when they're older, because they have this perception that outside is where the saviors are or something. They think that you get these Christians and they'll say, oh, Jesus Christ is the savior. But these people don't do what Jesus Christ said, which was the kingdom of heaven is within you. And that's what he said. And if he did exist, some people believe he didn't exist. A lot of historical people say that Jesus didn't exist. And so this is another thing. Because some of these psychopathic Christians would probably want to hit you if you said that. But I'm only stating a fact that lots of people in history and work with history don't believe that Jesus ever existed. They say there's not enough evidence to conclude and to say that he existed. So what we're left with just this. We're left with just awareness. We're left with just this present moment. That's all we really have, really. Everything else that we think is just an imagination. That's another reason why you don't want to go with outside forces, because just you don't really know what is true and what isn't true. Excuse me, I've still got a cold. But you don't know what outward, if it's the good, if it's bad, you don't really know. And so that's why the only solution really is to look within yourself. But the thing that stops this is a lack of faith of what is within. To look within means that you're meditating. It means that you're dealing with your problems. Your traumas and everything all go within your feelings, which is your heart center. And then they manifest themselves in your day-to-day life. This is now a science fact. Heart intelligence and heart-based living is science. And so, and that's where you're healing from. When you're starting to meditate all the time and feel and be there, live from that space, you start to ascend very quickly and heal very quickly. And then you realize that all you needed was to look within in the first place. You realize that what you're dealing with outward is just an infinite matrix. And it's put there on purpose to make you realize that you are the savior within you. If you think of it, no one can come and rescue you. Really. Even if they did. And if you think that this external savior is the reason for your well-being, then that's you telling yourself that you're not good enough. And that's a very self-destructive way to look at yourself. That's not going to be a good thing long term. It's always going to be more healing to see yourself, to know that you've healed. That's the amazing thing about this spiritual awakening that I had. That I've healed problems myself. Not from an external force, but from within me. See, the outside world is always telling us stuff. But people don't ask why. They think that an external system has its best interests at heart. And like I said earlier in the video, that's very vulnerable and stupid. You know, think about it. That's not the case. It's already proven fact that 5G is very harmful to us, and that's been put out there, and we all didn't want it. So the system doesn't have our best interests at heart, and they're rushing this stuff out because of people waking up. And more people are becoming aware not to trust external things. You know, because the system doesn't have our best interest at heart. If it did, 5G wouldn't have been out there. Because so many people in countries said we don't want to. So that's why the only solution in this problem is to look within. And meditate and let your soul consciousness lead the way. And just go with what feels right at the time, you know, just do that. Whatever you feel, whatever your heart is telling you, that's what is going to be healing. Because when you do what your heart wants, then you're feeling joy. And then you overcome what you're wanting, what you desire, and then you're ascending more and more. But there's nowhere to get to. You're not ascending to a certain place because it's just infinity. If you think of it, there's an infinity of ways, an infinity of possibility. That's why it's crazy when someone argues over their point, when that point is one possibility but with an infinity of possibility. That's how insane humans are. I'm glad I'm not one, and we're not. Human is the label. We are basically, what we are is infinite awareness. Having a human experience. Infinite multidimensional beings having a human experience. And once you tap into this infinity, there's infinite ways you can develop, you know. And you can develop in your own infinite uniqueness. You know, we're all one, but we're all having a unique experience. And the answer, the solution, like I keep saying, it's all within. Because you can't really know or trust what is outward. You don't know like I've been saying all along in this video, you can't know what is out there or why it's there or if it's to manipulate you or not. You don't know. The only thing we really know, we can trust, is our heart space. Is what we really know, or what we're dealing with, what we feel right now. And that's the safest place to be. It's the most healing place to be. It's the place of growth. It's a place of happiness. And that is the way. It just takes a bit of faith and courage to do it. All is within you. And I'm just going to leave it there. And if you're watching, you're meant to watch it, Everything Falls, Divine Order and Divine Timing. Thank you for watching.